Welcome back to another episode of Brands You Should Know. In the previous episodes, I've covered more of the minimalistic Korean brands, and today, it's all about abnormality and unique cuts. They're known for their deconstructive details along with experimental designs. Many of you have heard these names. They're Ader Error, Post-Archive Faction, and Andersson Bell. If you're new to this channel, subscribe to improve your style, and now let's get started. For most designer brands, obviously the designer is one of the most important parts, and the creative director really decides the direction of the collection. With Ader Error, it's the opposite. Since launching the brand in 2014, the brand director nor the head of specific departments is revealed. The reason for keeping it under the radar is to achieve their vision of exploring new ideas with fashion as a medium. The name Ader stands for aesthetic drawings and the as a person doing it. The error at the end means that they're willing to accept trial and error in their design process and incorporate it into their final work. Ader Error delivers this through their commercial products along with their flagship stores and showroom interiors. As you can see from these designs, they really care about small details and play around with it to give an accent while not turning it into something that's unwearable in daily life. So let's take an example of their 2020 Spring-Summer collection. Obviously, these all seem wearable, and then when you look at the details, for example, this striped shirt, if you look at the cuffs, you can see that it's double layered and it says Ader here, and even the pockets here is kind of like cut off. Those details are what Ader focuses on, and it makes it totally wearable while having a little bit of tweak to the design. And one of my favorite categories is outerwear. As you can see with this jacket, from afar, it's a trench coat. You can see that the bottom detail is here, but it's not too special. But when you look at the details, like you can see this knot here, it doesn't exist in usual trench coats. And then if you see the buttons, these are techwear components. So they really like to mix these and they're not afraid of experimenting. So you can see the buttons kind of cut off. You can see that the back is cut off. Like every single detail that they put is really thought out. And look at this hoodie. Like, what is this? It's so innovative and amazing. And if you think of fashion industry, it's really hard to come up with new stuff because everything already exists. However, putting something like a hood on a trench coat and then putting it like to the side, they try a lot of new stuff. The price point is a bit expensive. For outerwear, it's around like $400 to $600 if it's an expensive one. However, I really think it's worth keeping an eye on, especially if there's sale going on. It's going to be a really good deal because like all these details, it's just amazing. Their most recent collab was with Mason Kitsune, and I know I'm butchering the pronunciation, and I apologize for that. And since their signature color is deep blue, they try to incorporate it with everything they make. Mason Kitsune is more of like a minimalistic brand, and they don't like to add a lot of details. I think that's what Ader tried to mix. So they didn't really have a lot of details with the cuts and patterns, but they put a lot of like different fox shapes, and these are not what Kitsune usually makes. So they make really simple garments, and if you see their pants, like they have these little details, and there's like a little cut here, and there's fade going on. These are all what Ader brings to the table within a collab. So that was Ader Error, and the next brand is Andersson Bell. When you think of Korean style, what comes to your mind? I instantly think of minimal. Andersson Bell brings Scandinavian designs with a Korean point of view, providing timeless items with clean patterns to show its Korean heritage. The brand did not have a smooth start at first. The owner wanted to create clothes that he would love to wear, but that came with a huge cost. And it wasn't possible to achieve the quality he wanted without making large quantity of clothes or higher price point. So he gambled. Making the production order in large volume, he was able to lower the cost to what the customers are willing to pay for. It has grown its reputation of producing contemporary design, operating outside of gender, race, and cultural background. And in terms of design philosophy, it shows a similar landscape to Ader Error, but less eccentric. It's more on the minimalistic side and less experimental. However, it does add little bits of details to its design. If you're looking to purchase Andersson Bell, I would definitely recommend waiting for sale because outside of Korea, I feel like the retail price is too high compared to its quality. So this is an example of 2020 Spring-Summer collection of Andersson Bell, and as you can see, there's like a little diagonal zipper detail, and these are the little things they like to add. So they're not too simple, however, compared to Ader Error, it's more of a minimalistic and a wearable one. If you're looking for experimental designs, Ader Error and Post-Archive Faction, PAF, is one of the best Korean designers that do experimental designs. And if you're looking for more minimalistic wearable garment, Andersson Bell provides high quality material. And if you're looking for wool, I definitely recommend Andersson Bell. And the last brand I prepared is Post Archive Faction. Post Archive Faction is a Korean brand that I can vouch for their unique design approach. It's already popular in streetwear communities with a lot of hype around it every release. What's really interesting is their approach on design and labeling. They got the right design, which is the fundamental model, center is the bridging model, and left is the radical model, which is something that I've never seen any other brands do. Just by doing this, they get my vote on innovation. The right model is sold the fastest since it's the most wearable design, and the designer probably expected it, but the fact that they're willing to make the left model to display their viewpoint of art is truly amazing. And if you're into deconstructive clothes like Mason Margiela or Kiko, like PAF, you should definitely check it out. As you can see from their lookbook, their eye is filled with anger and it's really rebellious. They're wearing a face mask and a hood and everything is like really sportswear. This is kind of the mood they're striving for. They're really avant-garde and they really want an innovation or a revolution. And being an anti-fashion brand means that they don't like trends, they don't want to follow trends, and they want to break it. That's what they're really striving for. So if you're into deconstructive details and something avant-garde while being it like techwear, and you can see this blazer, it's like super sportswear textile, which is not that common. So if you want to build a unique closet, I definitely recommend checking out Post Archive Faction. That's the end of this video, and thank you for your time. This video was not created from top of my head. I referenced Essence, Hypebeast, and brand info on their websites. I hope you enjoyed this video and come back again for next brands you should know.